the batters do when they
Well,
score a
we're
base.
already
They're like,
live. We're
"Oh, we're
already
already live.
live,
Oh
Will.
crap.
We're
Oh shoot.
live.
All right. Uh-oh.
They got a little
Uh-oh.
backstage scoop there. Um,
Oh.
Here, wait. I'll intro us off. I'll do a little mini
Okay. Go
intro.
for it.
Welcome everybody to the first live stream that we're doing. This is what we're going to plan to do going forward is live stream pretty much every time, with the exception of if Will and I have any complications with our schedules. We're really excited to do this. It means that we might be able to do this a bit more often as well, which would be really cool. And it definitely means we could be a bit more spontaneous with it. Up to this point, Will's been really working hard in the editing room, trying to pump out these episodes, which we're all super thankful for. So I think now, hopefully, we can kind of just give more to the people, Will.
We're giving it, man. We're giving the stuff to the people. And the A's have been giving back to us. The A's actually swept the series for the first time in forever. They went 1-2 against the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Baltimore Orioles, but they took all three against the Angels. And, not to make this about the A's, but, it is an A's podcast. But pretty cool that the A's have been giving back to us a little bit, and it feels good. I know it's a season of giving, but nothing wrong with a little Christmas in July.
Oh, absolutely. I don't want to keep the people waiting. We'll talk about everything. We'll talk about all three series and what we liked, what we didn't like, Cole, stars. But let's not keep the people waiting. Will, what do you make of the game?
What do I make of the game? Well, I think that could be kind of a bit of an abstract question, but in terms of the game of baseball, I think that how it's like as
No,
Brad
when
Pitt
we
would say in
scored
Moneyball.
19 runs.
Oh, that game. Oh, okay.
That the
Well, actually, no.
game.
I'm gonna say the same thing though.
Keep keep
As
doing
Brad
keep
Pitt
doing
would
your
say,
thing.
yeah, as Brad Pitt would say in Moneyball, how can you not be romantic about baseball? Um, they scored 19 runs. I mean, sure, it kind of inflated the stats of every guy who saw a plate appearance on the team, but that kind
If
of
you were
made
to look
our
at Daz
jobs a little.
Cameron's stats now, you would think maybe he's a guy that gets on base a tiny bit, and that's how you can trick someone with one game early on into a season with a low sample size.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
I
everybody
mean,
looked like Babe Ruth in that game, but it was fun. It was good to see them blow out somebody. We'll take those when we can get it. I think last time they had a game like that, I think it was against the Marlins. They dropped like 20 runs in that game, which was, I mean, shoot, that was months ago, ages ago at this
funny
point.
that
But
there's two such games where the A's like exploded because. I mean, well, look, we don't have the number for you, but in terms of like combined runs or runs per game over, the last month, mainly June, it was ugly. It couldn't have been higher than like 3.5 or 4, obviously. So anytime that you can get a game like this coming off the heels of a sweep, huge. And there isn't much to talk about, other than, especially when we get to Stars and Cole, we can talk about some individual performances, but just the game itself and how the bats have been clicking, and even a couple shutouts recently. Um, Totally, I feel like we're learning that there are good players on this team, truly, and maybe objectively, but like there are a lot of bad players on this team too, or just not quite MLB ready, contributing to a good team players. So kind of with that, you're gonna see a lot of big losses, and you might every now and again see some big wins. And here we can address a couple of the comments here.
yeah,
We got
she has some
Kelly
stuff
and
in there.
Skylar in the chat. Thank you both for being here. First two viewers of live funny ball. That's going to be in the history books, I think. um but Yeah, Will, anything else on that game? Of course, again, we'll go over it a little bit more as we talk about players and their performances, but any more general stuff?
I think I just think that the series against the Orioles did wonders for that Gunnar Henderson baseball card that we may or may not have. So
Ooh.
there's like when in a game like that, when guys are racking up, guys like Gunnar Henderson or Adley Rutschman are racking up hits, that feels good for us too. Like
Yeah.
purely
Oh
from
yeah.
I guess if you're really kind of mining for value in a baseball card sort of way, that felt good. And it was like whatever the scoring runs, it doesn't really matter. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah. That
No, I mean
oh
it's
oh
pretty it's
yeah.
a pretty
Sorry, I'm just
golden
reading some of
card
his
at this
comments
point.
here. I think Skylar's kind of we got an
Ooh,
excited
give me that
one in the
card.
chat there.
Oh, he wants that card. Skylar, you're not getting this card, my friend. This card is ours. It's still split, so it's two people's card, but it's only two people's card. But cool. Alrighty. Do you want to go into stars and coal, or
Yeah, I
do you
think
want
one thing that we
to?
will give the audience is some lumps of coal and stars. So why don't we
Oh,
do
oh,
that? Give a live version of it, live and in concert,
lumps and coal live, lumps and coal, lumps and stars live.
live and in
Um,
concert on ice.
on ice. Hopefully, maybe one day. Podcast on ice. No one's ever. Wait, has anyone ever done that?
A podcast on ice? I don't
Yeah.
think so. I mean,
All
maybe,
right. Keep it in the
probably
memory
not.
bank.
Yeah, I feel like that's like pretty tough
Okay.
to do.
I'm lumps, correct?
You are lumps.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried that you asked me that like about 5 seconds before you're about to
It
give it out.
is
But
the little hope that you would like forget and be like, oh, I think I'm lumps and I can kind of get away from it. Cause as you know, I don't like ratting on our players. I don't like,
mhm,
snitching on bad performances. I like to hype up our players. But if I am going to be the one to bestow lumps, one lump of coal is going to be going to. I'm just going to do Soderstrom. I was going
mhm.
back and forth a little bit. Just I feel like he showed us a flash of brilliance there for a second, and we both, especially you. I know you're a big, you're a big Soderstrom, if you know what I mean,
I
and
don't.
Stroder
But
fan, Soder fan. I don't know, I'm trying to come up with a name for his fan base. Um,
I feel like oh, his fan base. Well, I was calling him Sody Pop. I'm part of the. I was part of the
oh,
Sody Hive. I think. Yeah.
the fans could be the
Oh,
Sody Pops.
the Sody Pops. I was a Sody Pop. I still am a little bit.
Yeah,
I mean,
should be.
it happens. Look back on the horse.
Don't
It's
die.
cool.
Don't die on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he didn't play great. And then he is still suspect a little bit at first. So I mean,
First base has just
yeah,
been like eluding the A's all year. I think this just has not. They have not seen a long stretch of quality play there. It's maybe we get like a game or two where like JD Davis or Soderstrom looks like unstoppable, and then we just kind of slink back into mediocrity at that position. I don't know. I guess
remember
maybe
when
you
Tyler
see
Nevin?
you were okay. You were pounding the table for Nevin at first base.
Oh,
That was
absolutely.
yeah. So I think
I was
we've
wrong.
all kind of taken our own respective lumps with who we want at first base. I don't know. Kotz seems to like Soderstrom. I know Mandy Alvarez. Oh, shout out Ron. Shout out Ron Mitra as the third funny ball viewer tonight. That
Heck
was not my
yeah.
bingo card tonight. There we go. There we go. But
But yeah, I
anyway,
was just saying about
yeah.
Soderstrom. Yeah, just I mean, sub 200, sub Mendoza line, OPS sub 6, and I think just because he's one of the, I mean, when I say few, it's relative, but one of the few guys that we really do have belief in that he could be here for a while. The team seems to like him. They're giving him this shot at first base, a little bit at position. And, you know, definitely I just want to see him put together some solid stretches and kind of on the heels of a pretty great stretch to kind of go through a little slump right now. It's too bad, but it is what it is. And that's why he's only getting one lump of coal versus two or three, is because, it's meh. It's not awful.
Yeah, I like how Mendoza's like your metric for like a first baseman.
That's the Mendoza line, like 200 sub or,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Still
Or just
for,
a mid like player.
for him, because that's not me, that's a lot of people. I learned that from like the baseball old heads. So it's like you've got generations of baseball fans like having the benchmark for being a bad player to be if you played as poorly as Mendoza. And Mendoza's still alive and he's sitting at home like, guys, can we like come up with a new guy who hit under 200? Like uh funny
It's
baseball stuff.
for that's baseball niche thing, but this is Mario Mendoza on the 1979 Mariners, and I guess like it was a joke and like the light hitting shortstop, but this was that's just so provide a little extra context
If I'm
there.
not mistaken,
Actually,
like
I
every
actually
year of
didn't know
his
his first name
career,
was Mario. I just knew
I
like
was
Mendoza.
gonna
I didn't like even know the first name of the guy.
yeah, I was trying to think. I didn't want to butcher it and be wrong, so I was just saying Mendoza. It is kind of crazy though. I think his entire career, every year, he's like, you know, up and down from that 200 average mark. So aptly named Mendoza line for the 200 average. Um, but all right, Will, you got a star? You want to
I do got a
talk
star,
good
and
about a player?
it's a guy who's been hitting above the Mendoza line the last 9 games.
Hmm.
I think there were definitely a few players that were deserving of a star, but kind of digging through all the stuff that was the other 8 games around the one big game. I'm going to award that first star to Max Schumann, our tried and true starting shortstop. I know he got some lumps on the last pod, but he's nearly one dotting with his OPS. He's been batting 318, and he's recorded 7 hits in his last 22 at bats. So it's kind of good to see that he's getting his groove back. So I'm happy for him.
Yeah,
I think I like to think that we motivated him. You know,
I'd like to think so too. I'd
yeah.
like to think so too. Yeah, I don't have much more there. It's been cool to see him in the lineup every day because I felt like when he should have been getting his real shot, he wasn't, and now he kind of is. So can't complain
Mhm.
there. Um, all right, two lumps.
2 lumps.
Um, so I'm kind of noticing a theme with my thinking this week. I'm kind of getting upset with guys that were playing well and then kind of started to not play as great. So it's a little bit of a, you know, because there's been some players that have played just as poorly as Soderstrom and this next guy I'm about to mention in the past, but have not gotten lumps of coal. But it's because we don't expect them to play much better than they were. I think Hogan Harris has it in him to be a solid starting pitcher over his career potentially. We'll see. But I just really like all the little sabermetric stuff, a lot of the baseball savant stuff, as well as just the eye test. He's been by far, almost by far. Joey Estes might have something to say about that, but he's been close to by far the best pitcher we've had this year, and he didn't even start the year with the club. So I'm just pretty high in Hogan Harris. Maybe it's for lack of other pitchers to be high on this roster, but I think it's real. I think it's legitimate. I think he could be a very legitimate starter. So to see him just have a couple duds, 2 starts and 2 losses as well. Um, yeah, just could have pitched better. 2 not great starts. That I'd mention it because I'm sure I've given him plenty of praise in the past few episodes. But yeah, and I also, tell me if you did, but I didn't notice anything concerning outwardly about his starts or anything that was crazy different, or maybe it seemed like guys finally got a beat on him. Like I just think, variants are going to have a couple bad starts.
Yeah, they will, and he's I think he's already shown like so much more than last season. I mean, last season he was, just one of many A's pitchers who were just kind of getting shelled over the course of the season. So, I mean, I think we've seen enough good baseball out of Hogan Harris this year to think that he is like a starting pitcher in this lineup. And even though he was kind of forced back into that spot from injuries,
Hmm.
he's been good. And I mean, he's I guess hasn't been playing in the majors very long, I don't think. He's an older
No,
prospect, I believe. No, no, he's not. He's only 27. Sorry, I'm getting confused with somebody else.
but
But
I
no,
mean,
Hogan
if
Harris.
you were, he's not even a prospect. I mean, he's. I mean, you kind of age out of prospect status around then, unless you were a top prospect, which he never was.
Yeah,
Um, but
he's a
yeah,
third round pick. There you go. That's not top
yeah.
prospect, but
Well, no, it can be. It all just depends on what you're doing in your first few years in the minors, and the fact that I hadn't heard much of Hogan Harris outside of A's, talk coming into this year and beforehand. And he definitely was never on a list or anything like that. So yeah, I think it's fair to say that he was depends on your definition of the word prospect. If you include just anyone who hasn't played big league baseball yet, that's in the minors. Yeah, sure. You know. But you want me to
perfect.
go with my menciones?
Do you want to do mentions first, or do you want me to do my 2 star?
Oh,
next.
sorry, I forgot
It's
you
up
were
to you.
trailing off on
We can change
mine.
it up if you
Sorry,
want.
I've been trying to find a couple of Hogan
Oh
Harris
no
stats in
worries.
my head, so I got a little lost in my head. Yeah. Here, wait, I can bring them up after. Go with your 2 stars.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can always come back to Hogan Harris. So 2 stars I'm giving to Brent Rooker, our DH in the team. All-star snub. I think next to Brent Rooker, we're probably the next most bummed out people that Brent Rooker didn't make the All-Star game, even as a reserve.
I'm
So,
bummed,
yeah,
dude.
it was definitely, yeah, I mean, he definitely deserved to. I think, I know a lot of, we throw the term snub around, all too much these days, especially with,
That's right, Kelly.
especially, yeah,
Justice
there
for
you go. Just
Brent.
hashtag justice for Brent. Yeah, we
That's
see
right.
you. We get it. We'll be saying that too when, he gets traded to the Phillies or something like that. But,
That is what I'm
uh,
thinking.
yeah, and he's been 1.2 dotting with his OPS over the last 9 games. Now, of course, you have to once again keep in mind he was one of the stars of the show in that crazy game against the Orioles where they put up 19 runs. But even outside of that, he still even outside the Orioles mash fest, he still managed to have a pretty good stretch of games. He had two homers against the Angels. Was able to rack up hits against them. I know Diamondback series, he was, I guess, like of the 3 series, that was probably his worst one, but he still had some hits here and there. But even without that, even without the Mash Fest, he was still pretty good. He's batting 406 over the last 9 games. That's a pretty crazy pace. He's racked up 13 hits, 4 homers, 9 RBIs in his last 32 at bats. Brent Rooker's just doing his thing. And I know in this pod, we recognize that, and we kind of hold him to a higher standard because of that. And we're we're good. I think like that was something that was keeping me from giving him 3 stars. We kind of hold him like such a high standard. I definitely thought about giving him 3. I was
Hmm.
actually very back and forth between him and the guy actually ended up giving 3, but I think just because we've given that to Rooker so many times, he's kind of been like the heart and soul of this offense. Yeah,
Yeah.
but 2 stars, 2 stars for Brent Rooker. Future
Yeah.
future Philadelphia Philly. Ooga
Uh,
booga booga.
oh,
Putting
don't
that out
say
there.
that. But I
Well,
do
I'm
think
saying
that's the most likely thing. Yeah, no, it's rough because it's tough. I feel like his value, like his perception, and I'm not in the front offices of the other 29 teams. There's a dropping some news right there. I do not work as the general manager for any of these teams, so I don't know. Maybe he is getting hyped up behind the scenes a lot more than he is, amongst fans and media and stuff like that. But if his fan and media national recognition is that he, is if it says anything, I mean, it probably says that Brent Rooker is not seen as being a guy that can, 9, OPS and hit 30 plus home runs with or not even 30 plus, 40 plus. Cause honestly, that's the type of guy I think he is given a full season and stuff. He might hit you 40 home runs. Maybe he doesn't, but he can. And I'm just worried that I can see it now that we're not going to be happy with the return, and we're not going to feel like the package that we get back was the type of package that you get back for a all-world player, which again, given Brent Rooker's defense, his age, which it works both ways, because is he a little bit older right now, for a guy who's only,
He's
had a
29.
couple years?
He's
No,
I think
I
he's
knew it
29.
was a rhetorical question because
Ah,
I say, like, is he a little bit older? Yeah, but like he also then has a lot more service time still, left off, pre free agency. So you actually get this guy's prime for as cheap as you can get a good player's prime. So with all that being said, I think he's a really good asset in this league, let alone this team right now. And if we're not getting back either like Painter Miller from the Phillies or just a team's top 2 prospect and like a good system's top 2 prospect, I'm just gonna be bummed. And then like let alone just imagining a world where both Rooker and Miller get sent out in the same deal, then we need like a top 10 prospect in baseball, I think, at least top 20 or 30. And that's all a little bit you know subjective in terms of the ratings of certain prospects. But yeah, definitely having a little bit of a crisis, imagining that world where the A's team that already the offense sputters a bit too often for our liking, to then just trade out a dude that is so much better than people know. I feel like that don't watch the A's consistently. It would hurt, but you know,
Part of me also feels like if they were to get like a king's ransom for Brent Rooker, they would have already traded him at this point.
I
You don't
disagree
think
only
so?
because a lot of teams wait till the deadline, so
Hmm.
it's
Okay,
like,
that's fair.
you know what? No, because it's fair because like, yeah, sure, if a team were to have already blown the A's out of the water, they would take the deal. It's not like sacrilege or, like incredibly taboo to make a deal a month or two before the deadline, but teams often do wait. And one of the reasons, just like, a star player might wait in free agency for a little while, maybe what you think is the best offer right now, you let all the other teams know, hey, we have this offer for Brent Rooker. Then another team comes out and says, hey, we can actually match that here. Or maybe 2 weeks later, or they tell you, hey, we're thinking maybe we will. We want to see how these guys in our minor leagues perform over the next few weeks. And we want to see how this goes. And we want to see if we can stay healthy over the next few weeks. If we do, then maybe we don't make this trade. But if we're not, so there's just so many moving parts that's why often there is like a deadline day where like 30 deals get made or 20 deals get made after 3 having been made the entire season. So but you could, I mean, what you said is probably right, that if the A's would have gotten that offer you can't refuse, they probably wouldn't have refused it. We'll see. But that just worries me even more than, about just how other teams view Rooker's value and how desperate the A's are just to recuperate out assets for a player who does turn 30 next year. Like it's not like he's a young guy who you can wait another year or two to sell even higher. Like he is in his prime right now. And you kind of, you got to get something, but I just don't want to do it if you can't get something. So anyway, crisis, as I said.
Speaking of crises, you want to give me your dishonorable mention?
Um, yeah, I do. Still going back and forth a little bit. I will do it just because I kind of think it's funny.
All right.
This is Zach Geloff's best stretch of baseball, maybe of the year. You know, and he has struck out more than half the time his past 9 games. He has 17 strikeouts and 31 official plate appearances, and he has
Whoa.
like a over 8 OPS and stuff. Like he's playing well. Like every time he's not striking out, he's kind of getting a hit. But kind of the true spirit of the dishonorable mention, we're not putting any of these guys down too much. It's not like there are prerequisites, like you have to be playing this bad to be a dishonorable mention. I'm just gonna kind of dishonorably mention that Zach Geloff has struck out 50% plus of his plate appearances, even though he's playing well, which does a little bit concern me of, like he must be seeing the ball pretty well to be having kind of the type of year he has, and then to put together a stretch like this. But even when he's seeing the ball well, it's 17 31 strikeouts, very small sample size. So again, this is kind of a little more comedy than substantive, but like it is a little bit, it catches your eye a little bit. I'll say that.
Yeah, and I was gonna see if like that his hitting stats were inflated by the Orioles game. They sort of were. Oh, he had a scoring. He had a 2 RBI hit. Yeah, double. 2 RBI double. So that's the word I was looking for. In that game,
Not as much
he
as
didn't have
like
one of the
Daz Cameron, Brent
many
Rooker, and
homers.
some of those
No,
other
no, no.
guys.
It actually
Yeah.
wasn't. I was gonna withhold that point because it wasn't as inflating of a game for his stats as I thought. But yeah, no, It's funny because like I like looked at his OPS and I was like, oh, okay, like Geloff actually like did play better than I thought. I was like, oh no, no, because I remember like watching one of the highlights of that, and like there's just a gnarly strikeout that he had. I want to say it was against the Angels. It was just like one of those pitches that just like it was like I think it was like some kind of curveball or some kind of breaking ball that like it in no universe like should any like major league player be thinking that that was going to be like within range, and it just like kind of just it was on this path that like definitely would have like been a ball, but he swung at it anyway.
Javi
Um,
Baez
it
moment.
was just Yeah, I mean, whatever. I'm sitting on the couch with my bag of potato chips, like commenting that to
Yelling
Zach
at
Geloff,
Zach
knowing
Galoff.
knowing darn well that I wouldn't be able to. Yeah, old man shaking fist at cloud. But
New
it
nickname for
was
Zach Galoff, the
we
Cloud.
we hold our the cloud because I'm always shaking my fist at him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess so. The cloud,
That's a pretty cool
and we're
nickname.
also
I don't
and
know if
when
anyone
he
has
when he's
that.
not when we're not shaking our fist at him, we're on cloud nine. But his number's 20, so it doesn't really work.
Okay,
His
okay.
number's not 9 though. Mm,
Nah,
we'll think
whatever.
about
It
it.
doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah. All right, chat. What do we think
um,
about that? Chat. How do we
yeah,
feel? How do I feel,
exactly.
chat?
Chat. We got chat. We got chat up in this.
Chat. Do we think the Cloud is a good nickname for Zach Geloff,
The first one
second
to say
baseman?
yes or no, we're gonna roll with it.
Yes.
The first person to just say yes or no, we will take your
All
advice.
right.
But anyway, as we're waiting on the people to get humming, I just want to
Yes.
close off that point by saying, um,
Oh, Kelly said she's thinking about it. That's not a yes,
ooh,
and that's not a no.
yeah, the Cloud Kelly. All right, this
Hmm.
is a lot's riding on you. This is a player who might be an A for a long time that we're gonna have to call this or
This
not.
is this
So
is a, this is a pivotal moment in funny ball history right now.
top 5 moments
So
thus far, for sure, making the
this isn't a top
compilations.
5 moment. I think we've had more. I could probably think off the top of my head 5 better moments for than 5 to 7 business days.
That's a long
What?
time, Kelly.
That's a long, dude. Oh,
All right. Well, no,
can we
we'll
like
wait.
pay to
We'll
work? All
wait.
right, whatever. We'll wait. We're patient on this file.
We can't just totally ride on our one fan. We have to give our one fan some breathing room here. But I wanted to
My boy
close off
one
that
fan.
last point by saying I'm joking. But it is the one fan that we're actively talking to.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But so Zach Geloff, still good. Like if he were to do this over the year, he might be an all-star. Maybe not, because that would be like, oh my god, Zach Geloff struck out 300 times this year. But like that's if he literally was doing this. But like an 830 OPS, that's an all-star second baseman, like easily. So like it's just kind of funny how it's like his best stretch of baseball, or one of his best stretches of baseball, or if you just want to say a good stretch of baseball, and he striking out just so much for a guy too that came into the year not being a strikeout prone guy. I put in quotes because everyone strikes out, and it's not like he was one of those absurd contact guys that never strikes out. But he definitely had a reputation of being able to control the zone and use some plate discipline. So yeah, again, he just wants to be an A for a lot longer. No one's trading for him now, so it's like can't blame him for that.
He wants to
Wants to
make
go
it
to
to
Vegas.
Vegas. Yeah, he wants to go to.
Exactly.
He wants to last 3 years in Sacramento in the same minor league ballpark that the Giants AAA team plays in, and he wants to make it. He wants to make the trip. I respect that.
Free trip to Vegas 4 years from now? Oh, count me in.
All inclusive.
All
There you go.
inclusive? You tell me I get to buy an apartment? That's crazy.
Big
I
news
will
if you're
say
Zach
those like
Geloff.
little residential areas in Vegas, or at least the ones that I've seen, pretty nice. It's really hot there, but like there's definitely a lot of residential stuff out there, and it looks there's towny parts of Las Vegas people would not expect. Um,
Like it's so funny to me because like I don't know, my frame of reference for Vegas is truly like just like the Strip and like Fremont, and like I do have to remind myself that there is like a whole rest of the town of Las Vegas. I guess also
yeah,
the Hoover Dam, I guess, but you know.
I do not think of the Hoover
Or
Dam when I
or if you
think of
play or if you
Vegas.
play Fallout New Vegas, then maybe that's part of it too. If you're a Fallout New Vegas fan.
Shout out Vikram. He talks to me a lot about like, oh, this isn't Fallout Vegas or this isn't Fallout or whatever. Like,
The one
he came
person
and
out of our
visited
friend group
me, and
that
he's
played.
like, this area
Yeah.
isn't Fallout, and it's pretty crazy.
You should have
What
hit
are you
him
gonna
back
say?
with some Fallout lore. I think that would have like kind of blown his mind if you
I
were
don't
like,
have any.
oh, I was gonna say like, well, no, when you visit him next time, you should say this ain't the new California Republic.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's right,
Oh,
Ron. Fallout New
Ron's
Vegas
happy about
mentioned.
the Fallout New
There we
Vegas.
go. See, there's more people into it than we think. You should say Vikram, Vic. This isn't the new California Republic.
Mm.
And then just watch how he reacts to that.
You know, I do
He'll
think he
get it.
actually
He'll know what that
said New
means.
California Republic a few times when I
Okay,
saw him
yeah.
kind of recently.
You should tell
But
him that you're Kaiser's Legion and you're gonna take over the West.
oh,
He might
okay,
understand that one too.
okay.
Yeah,
He probably would. I mean, he's played the
he
game.
definitely would.
Um,
Oh yeah, Ron probably got that one.
but I feel like I want to keep talking about Fallout New Vegas because I don't want to talk about my next dishonorable mention. I'm upset about
Ah,
it.
as
I don't want to
enticing as
do
that
it.
is, I want to hear it. I want to hear
Oh,
it.
all right. I don't want to say it. All right. I'll come out and say that. And then I'll say it's TJ McFarland. Um
Ah,
this hurts my soul more than I knew my soul could be hurt, question mark. But yeah, 5 earned in 3 innings, just you know, an ERA that jumps off the screen 15. And he's been our little sabermetric darling early on with this team, I'd say. A guy who you would never know, and at least with me, who hadn't watched TJ McFarland pitch a ton, live or at least on the TV, watching him on my team. And he always had a reputation of not being great, like, just giving up runs wherever he went. And the fact that this year he was like 95th plus percentile and like a bunch of stuff where it's not like, if it was truly the most important stuff, then he literally would be one of the best relief pitchers in baseball. But like, really interesting, his barrel rate, his hard hit percentage, and stuff like that. That like literally, 98% of pitchers induce harder hit balls than him, and 90 something percent of pitchers induce more barrel contact than him, and like stuff that like even if you're not a huge baseball fan or you don't have a lot of experience with those numbers, it tells a story. And he hadn't given up a run for a long while, and not even like a hit, like out of 10 appearances, I think he only had like 1 hit given up before this appearance. And yeah, kind of the talk about the Hoover Dam, the dam kind of gave out a little bit, and more
oh
hard hit
man.
balls started to happen, I guess. And yeah, it makes me sad. And I've not been able to bring myself to look up his baseball savant since then, because I don't want to see like numbers in the 60s now or anything. I'm a little scared.
Yeah, I will say one of those stinkers did come in the Mash Fest against the Orioles, so it was
Ironically,
like
right?
yeah, whatever, But I mean, no, his game against the Diamondbacks that was pretty bad. Here's to hoping that a 39 or 40-year-old TJ McFarland makes it all the way to Vegas. I know that's definitely not going to happen, but would be
Maybe he's
really
like a
funny if it
magician or
did.
something.
Would be
New
really
tape
funny if
face.
like even if he like bounced around the league for a bit, like the next couple years, and then came back to the A's the year that they went to Vegas, which is like he'll probably be like 39 or 40 at that point.
As I say, as you allude to,
Yeah.
I don't know how much bouncing around time he's got left, but but we can hold out some hope.
It's the next thing next to his service time. And instead of service time, these guys bounce around time. There's like a
Yeah.
little metric for that, I guess.
All relief pitchers between the ages of 35 and 40 should have bounce around time where like it ensures like, because all these guys have to sign minor league contracts and stuff, and some of them get screwed. And I wish I knew a little bit more about, like, for example, if a pitcher comes maybe claimed off waivers, you know what? No, because then they're DFA'd. I was about to come up with a whole new thing for baseball. I just realized baseball already had thought of it and had already had thought of it. So anyway, no bounce around time needed. TJ McFarland would get paid handsomely if he sucked and got cut. Anyways, pitchers kind of win at that stage of their career because there's so often that pitchers get DFA'd and cut and stuff like that around that time in these minor league contracts. That net more money if they make the majors. And if you get picked up, I don't know the specifics, but I think you can literally get paid by, I don't know. I'll stop this point because I'm learning that I don't know enough about what I'm talking about. But all to say, TJ McFarland, no bueno. Wish it was more bueno.
Yeah. But it was more bueno. My honorable mentions.
Mm,
I got two of them. To
mm.
sprinkle on for you. All right. So my two honorable mentions are the safe one is Luis Medina, starting pitcher Luis Medina. He has earned that title, in my opinion, again. He's not been bad in his last two starts. He only allowed one run in each of his last two. He did walk three guys in each of those, but he played well against some better major league lineups, especially against the Orioles. He held his own. Again, that was the Mash Fest. We got plenty of run support, but he himself was not giving up the 8 runs in that game, and he played well against the Diamondbacks. So good in him. Good in him to do that.
I think he got a lump of coal last week. So
He
if
did.
not, then 2
He
weeks
did.
ago. So
He
yeah, good
recently.
on
He
him.
definitely did. Yeah. Dude, I'm just like, oh man, I'm like itching for trivia now. So like, I want to like savor the 3 stars, the 3 lumps of coal. But like, man, I'm ready for trivia. I'm like, oh, I'm going.
Hey, I
Sorry, I
actually
was going
don't
to
have trivia for this week.
What?
I'm sorry, I forgot about
Are you
trivia.
serious?
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude.
I'll have so much trivia next
Oh
time. I
my god,
promise.
no, really.
I'm serious. I'm not yanking any chains here.
Ah,
Yeah, I'm sorry. It
that's
wasn't
a
necessarily
bummer.
supposed to be like an every week thing, unless I did say that, in which case I apologize for contradicting myself right now. In my head, it was like maybe every other time, or just when I have it, like when I kind of get inspired or I find some stuff on somebody. Because sometimes, like one of them, it just kind of came up where I was like reading something on Twitter and it like said one of the fun facts. But my bad. I might have even told you I was gonna have trivia this week. I apologize if I did.
That's
Definitely
okay.
next week. That's a
Maybe I just like got
promise.
into like the. You know what? But I have some trivia for you today.
Ooh,
So
this I
maybe this
like.
is maybe the tables have been turned. The turns have been tabled in
I
this one.
like the turns getting tabled. I like that.
All right. So stay tuned. Stay tuned, chat. In the meantime, 3 lumps of coal.
Ugh. Yeah, ripping the band-aid off. It's JJ Bleday. 2 for
Yep.
32 with no extra base hits. Enough
Yeah.
said. You know,
Turns out when he's
yeah.
not hitting doubles like every other sorry, I just saw the latest comment. But it turns out when
Let us know
turn,
what the results are, Skylar. I'm
uh,
interested in those results.
that's something. I'm not going to repeat it on the pod here, but that was something.
I mean, people can read it at home.
They can.
That wasn't a direct message. Uh,
No, it wasn't.
um,
What's this good?
I
I
love
might be a
how.
little more worried if it were
By the way, he
actually.
did it to himself. That's his real name. This isn't a stage name for Skylar. Skylar's attaching his real name to this. uh, Someone might think that Sugar is a fake name, but no. Anyway, continue, Will.
No, that's fine. It turns out when JJ Bleday is not hitting doubles every other plate appearance, he is the crappiest 5-tool player in baseball.
Five
That was all I
tools,
wanted to
though.
say.
5 tools.
Um, 5 tools. it's like you have all these tools, but you have like you don't have the. It's like you have like a toddler, given like state of the art tools, and they just like
Yeah.
haven't been able to
Or
grow
you
into
have
them.
like a lawnmower that's like the most
Hmm.
high-tech lawnmower in its class, the most energy efficient, lawnmower in its class. And it has no blades and you can't put blades on
Mm.
it. So it's
That's a
essentially
that's a
just
good
a really
analogy.
slow vehicle. Um
Yeah,
so yeah, I'm with you.
yeah. I'm with it. I'm
And
with it.
Blade, yeah, a 180 OPS. Yeah, just the at bats haven't been great either. There's been some very quick ones, 3, 4 pitch at bats. Oh, and also just like a very mini recap for those who weren't tuned in when we last talked about what we meant by the Blade being a 5-tool player. There was a guy who, through analytics, did a study to find who the true 5-tool players in baseball were. The 5 tools being um, sometimes it's tricky to remember all of them. You've got contact, or no, it's hit. I'm not even gonna try. Anyway, the five important skill sets in baseball, and he was able through analytics and stats to kind of put numbers and attribute numbers to each one, and find kind of who qualified as being having that tool. You had to have a certain, benchmark stats to kind of have that tool, the hit tool or the speed tool, the arm tool. And Blade was one of like the 7 or 8 guys that technically met the prerequisite for each tool, all 5 of them. Therefore, should be considered a 5 tool player, even if, as Will mentioned, the worst one. So yeah, just for anyone who wasn't there when we talked about that, might have been confused. But anyway,
Yeah. If you're a glass half
yeah,
full guy, it's exciting to have a player that has that much potential, but it's also a little frustrating when, they're still not quite reaching that potential.
yeah,
And I mean, it's been well documented. I know we also mentioned that he was a very, you know, high prospect back in the day. I think he was a like a top 5 pick, I think, to the Marlins
yeah. I
after
think
he
he
was
was like
drafted a
maybe
couple years ago.
6th or 4th, one of the two, I
Yeah, something
think.
like that.
But
He
he
went like definitely top like 7. Yeah,
he
no
saw
lower
those
than that.
tools, or they saw those tools.
Yeah,
But he definitely also was a top 30 prospect for the Marlins. Excuse me, at one point. So so yeah, I mean, definitely has come with some pedigree. Um, I'm not disappointed in him. I mean, in the stretch I am, but like in terms of like the type of player he is or whatever, I think for one, it's very unique, and maybe sometimes you'd wish that there is something that more jumped off the page with him. But yeah, to be a guy who was at one point on the A's as a former top prospect, kind of implying that he was a little bit of a bust, and the fact that he's the everyday center fielder, he's playing well defensively. It's hard to play major league center field. I bet you there's hundreds of guys dead and alive that could tell you how it's really hard to play major league center field, and would double down on it too. So to play, center field for us and have very few hiccups and just be solid out there. I haven't looked at the numbers within the numbers in a while, but I'm sure they're pretty good. And yeah, hopefully this is just a bad stretch and he comes out of it, maybe starting tomorrow. So we'll see.
yeah. Maybe starting tomorrow. There you go. Um, well, an exciting piece of just regular, just kind of A's and podcast news. And we'll be putting this out as some type of hopefully short form content. We'll see what the final form of that is, but I am actually going to be attending the Red Sox A's game, game 3 of that series. I'm very excited to
Woo!
see that live. So there will be hopefully some kind of content coming out with that, but that should be really cool. I'm really excited to like be seeing the A's live and in concert. So stay tuned. We will be. Oh, Kelly's saying that we should move the A's to Boston.
That'd be pretty funny if they
There's like definitely like a list of like probably like a top 3 hilarious locations that the A's would get moved to. Boston's definitely on the list.
Saskatchewan.
Philly would be another one. And Saskatchewan.
Yeah,
I mean, Philly would
be
be
a weird
funny. Well, actually, that'd
place.
be kind of cool because like a return to Philadelphia for the Athletics. But the Boston A's would be fun.
They actually
Oh no, no,
yeah,
no! A funnier one would also be New York. New York's third team is just the A's. I think
New
that
York
that would
did
be
have
good.
3 teams at one point, if I am getting my timelines correct, with the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Were the yeah okay the Mets definitely existed then. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So yeah, New York did it. Bring 3 teams back to New York. You know.
exactly. All these too many Mets fans, we can't even fit them into the stadium. We need to get another team in here.
Yeah, exactly. They're all out there somewhere.
um, exactly. But all right. I mean, do we have 3 stars?
I do have 3 stars. All right,
Ooh.
3 stars. I'll make this quick. I'll make it short and sweet because I want to get the trivia for you. All right. 3 stars goes to the one and only complete game shutout thrower, slinger, what have you. Joey Estes, right hand pitcher, starting pitcher for the A's. 92 pitches, completed the Maddox, which is named after, of course, the one and only Greg Maddox. A complete game shutout in under 100 pitches. That's pretty impressive. Just knowing, like, if I don't know how those of you out there how much baseball you watch, but to throw 9 innings worth of baseball fastball in under 100 pitches is crazy. I mean, it's definitely a little bit of luck and some great defense on top of that, but that's pretty impressive no matter how you slice it. He had a very solid start against the Diamondbacks as well. I am just very excited for how the young fella's been playing. He's just been great. It seems like he's really kind of found a new groove in this uh, I guess this stretch of the season, like over the last month or so. He's been, I mean, along with Hogan Harris up until this stretch, like one of the best pitchers on the team. His spot's definitely here to stay. Hopefully, he doesn't get traded. I don't know. Probably not. Probably not. Maybe.
I don't
I
know.
mean,
He's been pitching well.
and I feel like he's putting the league on notice. So at least with like a complete game like that, yeah, complete game shutout. I mean, that kind of puts everybody on notice whenever you do something cool like that. But
Yeah.
Joey Estes, 3 stars. Couldn't put Brent Rooker above him. That's how dominant that was. And Brent Rooker was, has an OPS of 1.2, which is also like absurd.
Yeah.
But yeah, 3 stars.
Yeah.
There we go.
Love it. It's a dangerous game because I am setting myself up to be just very disappointed at some point in the future by feeling this way. But I've definitely put a lot of, mental stock into Hoagie and Estes. I really like what I see. And if the A's want to keep them and try to develop them and just see what happens with them. And they're both, not super young. So it's like that development could happen pretty quickly. If it does happen, it's not like they're 22 and you've got to go, they got to take their lumps, pun intended, for a few more years. Like if they keep pitching the way they are and could even improve, I mean, I'm really excited about what that 1-2 punch can be in the future. Or maybe it's just a 2-3 or 3-4 punch. But if they can just both be major league starters for years, just with the control that we have of them as well, service time, it's like just something we clearly obviously didn't have going into the year, where it's like Ross Stripling, who should be coming back pretty soon, who I'm intrigued to see how he pitches. But like, there's no future with Ross Stripling. At best, you're hoping for a guy you can trade for an asset at the deadline, or just a guy to eat innings where you don't have to like call up someone literally just to eat innings. Like you kind of would prefer a veteran that, you don't care as much about the injury future of, which sounds cold, but it's true. And there's just a few guys on the baseball, man. Alex Wood, and like it just felt like guys that clearly didn't have a crazy long future with the team, and they're as stopgaps can be. Where to see a couple younger guys with a lot of control that the A's clearly, at least at this point, do trust, it excites me, and a lot more in the pitching department than I had been all year. I mean, I was just hyping up Boyle for a while. That's all I really had to latch on to, and he was giving up 8 runs every 3 starts. So it's really nice to have a couple of guys just with a bit more consistency. And we'll see. Again, like I said, I'm setting myself up for disappointment potentially. Maybe both of them go next month. ERAs over 8. It could totally happen, and that's the whole thing about these two that still have very little MLB experience. But so did every great pitcher, and a lot of great pitchers kind of showed at least something to show they're pretty great early on. So I don't think it's hyperbolic or too much to kind of see how well these guys have been playing, especially recently, and get excited about it. Other than, of course, Hoagie Harris, he got a lump, so we'll just follow that, and we'll see if that continues, because if that's the beginning of something bad, then you can forget a lot of what I've just said. But that's how I'm feeling.
All right. Yeah. Well, I think a little bit less prone on those guys coming in too. So, maybe that helps a bit. It's just weird seeing Joe Boyle just kind of just stink it up the way he has. I just feel bad for him. I mean, he's really struggling in AAA as well.
Yeah.
And, I'm not sure if he's on an injured list currently. I think he's just still in AAA Vegas. But
is it just maybe they took out the rehab terminology for it? Because you can stretch that for a while. You can have a guy technically on a quote rehab assignment for like a month.
I don't think so. I think he did actually get optioned. I'm pretty sure.
Got you. That would be the official thing, is if he gets optioned.
I believe he was when
gotcha.
he got. Yeah, I don't think he's been on rehab assignment. He's just been like, I think he was like outright option to AAA.
Either way, that would all just be technicality, and we both know that the A's don't think incredibly highly of Joe Boyle at the moment, which is
Yeah.
all earned. Not the A's fault. Maybe it is. Maybe the A's didn't develop him right, but at least outside looking in, it's not the A's fault to not have him in the rotation at the moment. And I also like keeping him as a starter because it's like it's so easy to see a guy throw with the velocity he does and be like, he's a failed starter now. He failed in his first really small sample size of trying to be a starter. We'll turn him into a relief pitcher for 10 years. Like I like sticking with him as a starter, and it's something that I'm very curious if the A's are going to do with Mason Miller this offseason, if Mason Miller's an A. And it's something I kind of wish that they did continue to maybe do with him, because it is kind of crazy the value of a good starting pitcher versus a great relief pitcher. For context, you're maybe getting a team's top 5 prospect for Mason Miller and maybe an additional prospect on top of that. If Mason Miller was like a good starter with the years of control and his age, gosh, it's a ransom, you know? So I for a team that wasn't ever really wanting to compete this year, clearly, I know a lot of it was coming off the injury base of not trying to throw him too many innings and stuff like that. But I almost wonder if there's ever a world where they could have developed him still as a starter early on here. Because I imagine it must be difficult to now throw a whole year as a dominant closer and then transition back into being a starter in one off season. Like, that seems hard. So I don't know. Some loose thoughts there.
Yeah. You ready
But
for some trivia?
I'd love to do some trivia. This was my whole ploy, just to answer trivia
yeah.
myself.
Yeah. Well, you didn't cover any of those bases, pun intended. And here we go. We're gonna have a little bit of trivia. I'm gonna turn it back on Trevor this week since he failed to do it for me, but that's fine. I had a few in my pocket.
I've asked you so many trivia questions, and you've not gotten any of them right. You know,
But we're gonna see. We're gonna see what you're made of, and maybe I'll be a little nicer about mine. But
hands up,
what
by
we're
the
gonna
way.
do
I'm
is I'm gonna ask Trevor. Oh yeah, hands up. So Trevor's
are
gonna
up.
not be looking any of these up. He's gonna have his hands up in some way where he's not gonna, affect his microphone too much. And I'm going to ask him 3 questions. If he manages to get any one of those right, he'll unlock the 4th question. But we're going to be testing Trevor's A's knowledge, and I have a few good ones I think that are going to be a little tricky. I have one that's definitely within reach, but I'm gonna see what he's made of. So let's see. Okay, true or false? Brent is Brent Rooker's first name. And if false, what is his real first name?
Oh no. I mean, I think so. Not official yet. I think his real name's Brent. I'm gonna go true. Yeah, I assume
Brent
because
is
you're asking the
actually not
question.
Brent Rooker's first name.
What is it?
Maybe it was a trick question. I could have done that with him. His full name is actually Terry Brent Rooker. Brent is actually his middle name.
Gosh, I
His
didn't
real
know
first
that.
name
That
is
doesn't even
Terry.
ring a bell. That's funny. I thought maybe there's a
Hmm.
chance he'd be doing a thing like like as if that was true, that's hilarious because you could do that with like any player. Like true or false.
Yeah, I that did cross my mind. I know that was a bit of a leading
Zach is
question, but it
Zach
did cross
Gelof's
my mind.
first
Like,
name.
what it was? Yeah, I just
Exactly.
psych yourself out.
That's
Hashtag justice
good.
for Terry. Kelly gets it.
Justice for
She gets
Terry.
it.
That was good. That's my bad.
Yeah,
I should have known that.
it's all good. All right. So Joey Estes, tomato, tomato, potato, potato, um, tossed a complete game shutout. Who was the last A's player to throw a complete game shutout? The hint
Oh.
was this player did it in 2021.
Oh, interesting. I was gonna go a bit longer ago. God, who
I
was
will
on
give
the
you
A's in
another hint. This is still an
2021?
active player. This is still an active player.
Um,
This player is still playing.
can I get a for like half credit, can I get like the like first or last initial or something?
Mm, how about half credit? I'll give you the last letter of his last name.
That doesn't help. I don't want no.
Okay, all
That's
right,
for
all
half
right.
credit.
Turn
You're
it
gonna
down.
take away
That's
half
fine.
credit for that BS? No.
I'll give you. Hmm.
I turned down your offer for extra credit or
Ah,
an
darn.
extra hint.
Okay.
Um, I'm just trying to think.
I can
I'm
give you
weirdly
a
really
a
difficult time
random.
putting their rotation together
Oh,
in my head.
oh. I'll give you. Actually, I'll give you a nickname of this player.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
Baby Giraffe.
Oh. Can I get one guess for 75% credit and then the next guess is for 45% credit?
No, one guess for 50% credit because I'm already being generous 'cause I
Baby
gave you the
giraffe.
nickname, and then
I
the
think
next guess would be 25. Yeah,
I have a
Baby
guess
Giraffe.
but I have a really hard time
You
believing he
you
pitched
you
a
will I will
complete
give you
game.
two.
Okay, I have a really hard time believing this guy pitched a complete game, partially because he's currently a, relief pitcher. But, hmm, Baby Giraffe my guess is just because he's really tall and wonky, is why I would guess him. Baby Giraffe. One more second. I'll bite the bullet. Is it AJ Puck? Yeah.
Not AJ Puck. Good guess though. Good guess, but not AJ Puck. I could
I
see.
had a hard
Yeah,
time
not
believing.
AJ Puck. Do you have a second guess
Um
for Baby
How
Giraffe?
about for no credit, can you just give me the initials and we'll see if I can get based on the initials, but I won't no credit if I get it.
All right, sure, that's fine. All right, no credit for
Compromise.
that. SM.
S Baby giraffe.
SM.
This is bad. I should have a much better picture of the 2021 roster in my head. It shouldn't be taking, this long. SM. Um, Hit me with it. No, no.
Sean Mania.
Uh, oh, that's so funny. I would never have gotten that, but yeah, Chamonix is not a bad pitcher. That's hilarious. I would never have gotten that. I
Sean
like
Mania.
almost shoved away Chamonix being an A for a while in my head. Just It's weird. I feel like Sean Manaea was on pace to be like a really good pitcher, and then kind of it fell apart a little. Still a major league pitcher, as you mentioned, but the old Mets. But man, he was good. Yeah, that makes sense. Good trivia question.
Yeah. Sean Mania did it in 2021. And that was his last year in Oakland. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was his last year in Oakland.
That's funny because you
All
just
right.
saying Chamonix just
Question
like
number
unlocked
3.
like that team in my head. Like now I'm remembering Frankie Montas. Now I'm remembering like you just had to like say one name to like unlock the team in my head. Anyway, continue.
All right. Number 3 for maybe some of the marbles. Maybe
Oh wait, Will,
unlocking that
huge
fourth
news, huge
question.
news. We have someone offering to promote our channel. Viewers, views,
Oh my
chatbots.
god, really?
This is big news,
Whoa,
Will.
chatbot.
Vegetarian Tabby H.
Dude, this
Big
is
news.
thanks, vegetarian Taffy H.
I
A huge number of custom settings? Dude, what are we doing?
The quality's guaranteed to be the
That's just like
best.
yeah. Oh, flexible and convenient order management panel, chat panel. Everything is in our hands.
Well, you know how
Look
like
at that.
nothing's in our hands right now. We're kind of just getting dictated to to do whatever we're doing here. Just
I mean,
it
my
feels
my, my
like
mouse is in my hands. That's like
yeah, but nothing else
I guess
is.
it
Everything's out of our
could be more in my
control.
hands. I guess everything could be in my hands.
That's right.
Yeah.
Over at Streamrise. Thank you for that, vegetarian Tabby H. Very entertaining. Um, but anyway, where were we?
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you, but that was some pretty big news.
No, you're totally fine. Question number 3, to unlock question number 4 potentially.
Mm,
There are 3 players in the major leagues who have multiple games where they hit both a triple and a home run. The first one is Gunnar Henderson. The second one is Ely De La Cruz. The third one is this A's player.
So say that one more time. Multiple games of a triple and a home run, or one game?
Multiple games, multiple games with both a triple and a home run.
Okay. Okay.
Meaning that
Okay.
they hit 3 and 4 of the cycle, and they had
Right.
multiple games when they did that.
Right. Gosh. I like kind of even remember a game where someone did that, but only one, and I can't remember who it was. Now, I'll give my like multiple choice. I think it's either gonna be one of, ironically, it could be Lawbut. I think even though it's been very not a lot of time here, Ruiz just went crazy during that one period, but he didn't hit home run and triple twice in two different games. So I'll rule out Estray Ruiz. Um, I will rule in Blade. I think it's Blade. I'm gonna keep going here. I think it's Blade. And I think it can't be Brent Rooker because that dude doesn't hit triples. Hmm. You know what? I just, for some reason, I vaguely remember literally Blade doing it. So I'll just say JJ Blade. Could be wrong.
Actually, was not JJ Blade. It was Shea
Ugh.
Langoliers.
Oh, that's so weird. I was never getting that. That's a good trivia question. That's a great trivia question. I was never getting that. Ugh.
That was Shea
That's,
Langoliers. I couldn't tell you what exactly were the games they did that in.
come on, Game
Blade
Master.
has, and it's funny because you usually associate with Blade straight up might have more triples on the season than Langoliers. I'm
Well,
going
didn't
out
Blade
on
get
a limb
close to the
saying that.
cycle this year? Like, I feel like he got
That
one
may have
time
been
close
in
to the
like
cycle.
one game though. That may have
Exactly.
only been like
That
one
had to
game.
be what it was. But
Yeah,
Blade, that
but
talk about like five tools or whatever, like combining them like for triple and home run or whatever. It felt perfect. And again, I literally think he almost went for the cycle one time. So that's maybe what I was thinking of. Great question though. That's a
oh,
good
thank you.
question.
Yeah, but you went 0-3, so you struck out. The pitcher was dealing, they were shoving, and you don't get that fourth question because, like you said, sometimes the pitcher stuff is just too good, and you just can't
Yeah.
really get back up to the plate. But I'm actually surprised you didn't get the Brent Rooker one. I figured that one was a bit of, because I feel like I've said that on the pod before, mentioning Terry Brent Rooker, but
I overthought it because I
yeah, I was
didn't, for
surprised that
one, I didn't have that in my memory bank. Like I didn't have Brent Rooker's name was not Brent. But if I had thought, I don't know, I thought that you'd be the type of slimy guy to like ask one of those questions, totally insinuating that the answer is gonna be like, obviously not, because then you said the follow-up, what is his name then? But the answer is just gonna be like, then I look stupid, like, oh, his name's not Brent, and then you'd say, no, his name's Brent, and I wanted to avoid that reality. So,
that's
yeah,
fair.
a little too much thought on my behalf. I'll be better
It
next
was more
time.
of a it was this was all more of a bet of my character, I guess. That was that's what this was. I
If
respect
anyone, I
that.
hope everyone here knows just how slimy of a trivia master Will is. He's out here to get you if you're doing
Only the
trivia with him.
slimiest. Yeah, there you
Um,
go.
yeah.
But yeah,
But anyway, you got anything else? That's all I got.
that's all I got too. I am super, once again, super duper hyped to be seeing the A's live this Thursday at Fenway Park. And
Fenway
yeah,
Park.
the home game for the A's. I'm probably gonna be like the only one of probably the only guy in all of Fenway Park that's gonna be wearing this hat, but I'm wearing it.
Yeah,
I'm wearing it, and I will have photographic evidence that I'm wearing it at Fenway Park this Thursday.
yeah.
But I am really excited to see Hogan Harris live and in concert, as well as
You
the rest of the
know,
gang.
you know that
I'm
there's
I'm
this.
expecting a two home run game over the Green Monster for Brent Rooker. That's what I'm expecting out of him.
I like it.
Oh,
Any
oh,
Daz Cameron
Kelly
predictions? What?
Daz Cameron's not going to play in this game. So
Oh,
uh, Kelly
big
has just
news.
said that Geloff can be called a cloud. We've decided.
I
Um,
wonder who we is, but I'll take it nonetheless. I love it.
shout out my parents for that one.
Yeah, shout out Will's family. Um, but Will,
Love
you
you,
have any
fam.
predictions for the cloud?
I got predictions for the cloud. I'm gonna say he hits an RBI double in Thursday night's game.
It's good quality
My
prediction.
actual prediction is, yeah, I'm gonna call it right here. I'm gonna say Geloff hits an RBI double. Hogan Harris pitches 6 innings, gives up 3 runs, and final score Sox 5, A's 3. The other
Love it.
runs are going to be a solo homer by Rooker, and yeah, so RBI double from Zach Geloff, Brent Rooker home run, and I'm going to say that Andahar cracks one too.
All right. I like it. I
I'm going to
like
say
it.
Miggy.
My
Miggy.
prediction,
Yeah.
because I've seen it a few times, and it's like it's actually one of the things I think of when I think of Miguel Andujar is him just ripping one off the wall, off the monster. Like that's like his thing, because he just hits balls really hard on a line and stuff that he just like he doesn't like in my memory bank doesn't hit him over the monster a ton, but he'll just crack him off the monster like once per game when he plays there.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to say Miggy doesn't hit a home run. Miggy's going to have like Miggy's going to have another RBI double.
I think he
That kind
just
of
definitely
deal.
cracks one right off
Yeah.
the monster. Maybe hits one of the numbers and they have to
Yeah.
repair it mid game.
Nice.
But
Nice.
yeah, I love that. And have a good time, dude. Make sure you come back and give us your
Prediction.
findings. Your if
Oh,
you
I
learned
will. I definitely
anything.
will. Appreciate that.
Also, wait, one
Heck
last
yeah. I
premonition.
might not. I might not learn anything.
It's true.
Oh, go ahead.
One last premonition. Will TJ McFarland pitch into your game?
Let me think about this. Actually, I'm just gonna look at like how often he's played in the last couple games.
Here's what
I'm
the
gonna make
stakes
a
are too,
prediction.
by
I'm
the
gonna
way.
say
Here's what the stakes are.
he
Before you answer the stakes, if you are wrong about whatever you say, if McFarland pitches in your game or not, your trivia is going to get a lot harder the episode following you going to the game. And if you're right
okay.
about if he's getting in the game or not, then your trivia is going to be much more mellow.
That's funny. Shoot. Okay, so day off.
And now you have to. Now you're doing the math.
Now I'm really thinking about this. Okay, so let me look at his game log. All right, he pitched the last 2 games against the Orioles. Wait, last 2? Did he pitch the last 2 against the Orioles?
He
No, he
might have.
didn't.
I think
Oh, he
so.
was
Actually,
definitely going to be. No. He played in the 5th and he played in the 6th. He did not play in the 7th, which was yesterday's game. Okay,
right.
TJ McFarland is definitely going to play game 1 of that series. I'm going to say that he. Oh boy.
That would line
Oh
up for
boy.
him
Oh boy. Oh
potentially
boy.
very well
Okay.
pitching in your game, or maybe he doesn't.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he does. Yes, I'm gonna lock it in. Lock it in. TJ McFarland's pitching in Game 3 of that series. He's gonna
Dude,
pitch
you
in
have
Game
to get
1.
your
He's gonna have off in
reaction.
Game 2, and he's gonna pitch in Game 3.
If he comes into the game,
Oh, dude, if
you've
I
got
get
to
no,
film
we have
your
to get my
reaction.
reaction. Like it becomes
The only
yeah,
guy in the stadium just like
yes,
erupting
we're gonna be
because TJ
watching.
McFarland's coming into the game. That'd be so good.
Yeah, I'm gonna be getting a lot of looks, but yes, I'm locking it in. TJ McFarland will be pitching in that game because he's definitely gonna pitch in Game 1.
Love it.
All right, and then if I suppose the reward is that my trivia is like regular level trivia. If
Yeah. And if
if
not, then you're getting
okay.
more like Idaho like game and fish questions and stuff like that.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
That's
All
what
right.
you got. You get what you
Never,
deserve.
never in a million years I would have guessed Seth Brown for that, man. That like
The more you think about it, the
I
more it
was
makes sense.
I mean, yeah, like after I mean everybody's a genius after the fact, I guess. But yeah.
That's
Okay.
true.
TJ McFarland will play. Miguel Andujar and Zach Geloff are hitting RBI doubles, and Brent Rooker cracks one. And A's lose 5-3.
Oh,
Final
oh
prediction.
God,
Locked in.
that's fair enough. That sounds very realistic, to be honest. That sounds like an A's game to me.
That's what I think we're gonna
That's good
see.
stuff.
That's what we're seeing.
Cool. Anything else? Anything else you want to tell the people before your adventure to the center of Fenway?
Nah. Well, yeah, I'm actually gonna be able to see the A's dugout, which is dope. I'm really, really, really excited for that.
First person to
I
ever
can't
say
think of
that,
anything else.
potentially.
Excited about the view of the A's dugout at Fenway Park.
Even A's fans like, I don't need to see
I
it.
I'm no, there's definitely a short list of people who are excited about that sort of thing, and I'm on it. But
Heck yeah.
yeah, man,
Cool.
I'm with it.
Cool.
So
I'm
yeah, that is all. So yes, obviously the A's are going to go on a 3-game road trip against the Red Sox in Fenway Park, and then that's going to be followed up by a 3-game road trip against the Philadelphia Phillies.
it's getting
Once again,
serious.
on Thursday night, I'm going to be watching Hogan Harris take the mound against Tanner Houck, and
Hauk's
then
good, by the
we will
way. There's your
see.
little scouting report. Hauk is good. Good
Houck
pitcher.
is good. He actually pitched in the last. Kelly predicts that the A's will sweep the Red Sox. That's a big prediction. That's a big prediction. I
I'm
like it.
starting to like
I like the
Kelly a
fire
bit more
there.
than you will. She
Um,
seems to be more on, my wavelength. Is
replace me on the pod, I guess. Yeah,
That'd
well, I'll
be
just have an
hilarious
episode where
next
like
episode.
no announcement or anything. Just like Kelly just dons the hat and just takes over for an episode.
It's like the Hannibal Buress show type
She's
thing.
she'll be prepared and everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, Hannibal Buress type beat.
Yeah.
What else was I gonna say? Totally lost my train of thought.
You were talking about
Phillies,
mentioning that
no.
we're
Red
going to the
Sox.
Phillies. Yeah.
Oh, Tanner Houck. No, Tanner Houck was he was the last Red Sox game I watched in Fenway Park. He was pitching in that game.
Yeah.
It was Red Sox were hosting the Rays in like September, and like it was like the stands were like half empty, and but Tanner Houck pitched as a relief pitcher in that game.
Gotcha.
I forget. Actually, no, he may have been a starter. I forget who was the starter. Whoever was the starter in that game got pulled early because they were getting like blasted. I believe. Oh, I actually don't remember if Houck was the starter or reliever in that game, but I will be seeing him again.
Cool.
This will not be my first time seeing Houck take the mound.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Is Hauk
Yeah.
Hauk doesn't even know. He doesn't even know.
He doesn't even know. Yeah.
No, he's oblivious to it all.
Yeah, he is.
But cool. I'm all out of A's stuff to talk about. You
too.
got anything more? All right.
I just want to give a huge shout out to everybody. From Kelly to Skylar to Ron to Vegetarian Tabby H, for tuning in today. And dude, we actually had like more than one. Yeah, thank you, Ron. This I think this was insightful for us too. It was like we had like more than like one viewer and commenter on the stream tonight, and that was
Yeah.
awesome. Like, thank you so much. Keep bringing it. Ron is claiming that he's actually leaving a more knowledgeable man. Yeah,
I'd like to think
thanks,
so.
Dad. Shout out, Dad.
Shout out Will's dad.
Yeah.
And shout out Vegetarian Tabby H. I hope you keep doing your vegetarian thing, my friend.
Yeah, I hope yeah. I mean, we're probably not gonna take you up on that offer, but maybe somebody will. Won't be us.
Well, wait, yeah. If they kind of put together more of a specific offer
wait, hold
here.
on. Kelly's saying we're being incredible. Like my volume? Is that what?
I think she's saying that you are being incredibly loud, just in person, maybe.
Yeah, but like,
or maybe I'm speaking too loud
like,
into the
like
mic.
volume?
I think so.
Oh, wow. Oh,
yeah, you just got roasted.
All right.
Yeah, Kelly, I think I was understanding what you were
means.
saying the whole time. I think Will was in denial a little bit. But
yeah, a little bit. No, those who know, the real ones know. If you know, you know.
Can I try something? Talk about
cool.
loud. Let's see. Do you hear that?
Yeah, I hear that.
All right. Well, outro music.
Outro music. I like it.
All right.
There we go. Okay, that was a nice surprise.
There you go. We're gonna be adding things every time.
There you go.
Just little by little, we're gonna get there to the
bells and whistles, man.
Exactly, bells and whistles.
Heck yeah.
Cool. Anything else you want to say before we hop off? Thank you again to the viewers. That's why I'll end up.
Oh man. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. We are so stoked to be bringing this to you live, and we think it's a big step forward for the podcast, and we're excited to grow our channel and grow our audience. So thank you for being part of it.
Likewise. Super stoked to be doing this live. But yeah, until next time, everybody. And wish Will some luck at the game. Wish the A's some luck in that game.
Appreciate it. What a magical Monday. Best one of my life. My